And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Welcome to Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou. Our show today comes to you from the traditional and unceded territory of the Tsimshian people. Liking animals is only a start if you're interested in a career in veterinary medicine. A veterinarian is a doctor of animal health who has trained at a university for at least 6 years and is licensed to provide medical and surgical care for animals. We begin today's Open Connection with Métis owner-operator of Nechako Valley Animal Health Services, Corey Stephen.
I definitely knew that I wanted animals in my life, or I wanted a career that involved life with animals. At the time when I was graduating from high school and thinking about my future career, horses were pretty big in my life, but you can't really make a living doing horses. And so for sure the veterinary, there was a bubble with, could I be a vet? And I never really thought I was smart enough. And at that time it was just overwhelming to think that I would have to go from such a small community off to Vancouver to UBC or to UVic or to U of A to get my undergrad studies done, and then from there have to end up, potentially in Saskatoon, maybe in Guelph, to complete my vet degree. So maybe the thought was there, but it wasn't in the forefront. So I guess I went a different route. I became a vet tech. I went off to the University College of the Cariboo in Kamloops, and I did an 18-month diploma program to get licensed as a vet tech.
When you started doing it, you go, oh yeah, I like this thing.
Oh yeah, I loved it right away. I mean, it was great. It was wonderful. Yeah, growing up with dogs and cats and horses and having, an uncle that had a farm and being raised in an agriculture community, it just filled every part of me, and I loved it. And I had, some job offers after I graduated back to the island, and in the Kamloops area, and I had a student loan, so the thought of going home was really appealing to me. And I really enjoyed I spent a handful of years working for the local veterinarian there, and that just even fueled my fire even more, I guess. He's a great vet. He did a lot of some, amazing things and kind of inspired me. I left that job. I broke my leg and I left that job, and I took a job teaching at the college. And that job is probably what really kicked me into pursuing a passion, because it was an employability skills program for adults at risk. And I had no experience working with those types of people. But I got that contract and we grew together, me and that class, and they really inspired me. They were, some of the biggest struggles for them was just getting their GED, and here I had a GED, and I was helping them to, achieve their goals and get their driver's license and get a job, and knowing that they are very capable human beings. And I hope that, I inspired them to go on to do great things, and in the same way they inspired me to, why aren't you?
There's not that many schools, right, for veterinarians. Is it less than there is for physicians? I mean, people doctor?
Yeah, so the provincial government of British Columbia funds a total of 40 seats at the Western College of Veterinary Medicine in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. So that is our vet college for BC, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. It used to involve Alberta as well, for a total of 80 seats. Now Alberta has built their own vet college affiliated with the University of Calgary, and they gave up their provincial funding for those seats in Saskatoon. So I was part of the provincial group that was really encouraging, lobbying, and I guess one could say pressuring our provincial government to fund that open 20 seats, because we are so desperate for veterinarians. I mean, we're desperate regionally, provincially, nationally, North America-wise, and, globally, we're short.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Thanks for staying with us. Of the 5 veterinary schools in Canada, there are just under 300 spots available per year. This makes it the hardest program to get into in Canada, and for every successful applicant, there are 700 to 1,000 rejected. This makes for harsh, unforgiving standards and nasty competition. Let us return to the conversation as Corey shares how she stood out among the applicants.
You have to be academically strong. I wouldn't say you have to be academically perfect, but you have to be academically strong. That will get you an interview. Your academics aren't going to get you into vet school if you can't be a well-rounded person. You can't show the type of person you are, your passion for and commitment to your future education, and the role you'll play as a veterinarian in society, whether that be in private practice or in academia and research, working for industry. You got to sell yourself to get those seats.
I guess that's one of those things, you get the training or have intuitions like, oh, what are they telling me what is wrong?
The intuition comes with time in the saddle, per se. You learn that, there's trends in medicine, but in the beginning, it's a lot overwhelming. They don't talk. I mean, we can pretend we're Dr. Dolittle as much as we want. And maybe they do talk, but I think you just become more sensitive to what's going on and you filter out the noise, because what an owner sees as a problem isn't always what I find as the problem, right? I find different things because I've had my hands on thousands of dogs and thousands of horses, and you just kind of learn, well, this might be, a problem, but it's not the primary problem. You think you brought it here for the primary problem that you've diagnosed with the help of potentially the internet, but that's not the primary problem. So I would say you get better the further along you go, the more experience you have, and the more questions you ask. And what do they say? You miss more by not looking than by not knowing. So.
And I guess you could say when something like if someone brings in a cat or a dog or an animal, you really have 2 patients. You have the 4-legged one and then the 2-legged one.
The 2-legged one is the one speaking for the animal. So like I said, you got to read through the noise a little bit, right? Definitely there's extreme value in the information that they bring. But sometimes you have to ask the questions and get more information. And, sometimes the dog's looking at you like, can you please just help me? Like owners will say, for example, when he's here for an ear problem, okay, that's the problem we brought him here for, but he is 3-legged lame. Oh, but he's not sore, he's not in pain because he's not crying. Okay, but he is in pain, and just because he's not crying doesn't mean he's not experiencing pain. Not using your leg means that it hurts.
It's kind of like that newborn baby always crying because that's the only signal that they know.
We can't, what is the word? Anthropomorphize, which is put human emotion onto animals or what we think or how they should act. We have to eliminate that. Like lots of owners will bring that information and I'll be like, well, if he's not using a leg, the leg is painful and sore, and there's a problem there. It might be more serious than what we are dealing with the ear. But the ear is why you're here, because he's shaking his head and it's keeping you up at night. I typically don't have much problem with horses. I don't know if I would say that I can speak their language a little bit. I mean, I'm pretty comfortable around them. They don't make me nervous. I understand and can read their body language pretty easily. I recognize that they're a fright and flight animal, so I like to give them space. I allow them to express their own emotion and move their feet, and if they're uncomfortable, give them some time. But you can't force them to do anything.
Like everything else, science and medicine changes and advances. And so for years I've had,
that's all I really learned on in school was mechanized dental power tools. And so when I graduated, that's what my skill set was. And equine dentistry is definitely something I'm extremely passionate about and I do a lot of. I've traveled out to Terrace twice a year for like 18 years to service the equine population out here. And that is one of the primary reasons that I would come, was to do spring vaccinations, deworming, dental work, lameness exams, I would provide emergency service while I was here. So yeah, everything. I mean, I have a DeWalt. That's what it is. It's a DeWalt with mods that have happened. The brainiac behind the development of this piece of equipment is from Calgary. He's a veterinarian, and this product is called the Power Float. It is a diamond rotary burr on the end of a shaft that is ran by a DeWalt, and it has improved the ability for horses to have comfortable dentistry done and in a much quicker fashion with a lot less trauma. I mean, the Power Float is only one of many different types of mechanized dental equipment we use in horses, but that's what I use. And I have a nice smaller, because women make up a lot of the profession now. DeWalt has a smaller grip size power pack and a lighter battery. And so I used to have the big giant one with the big battery, and I still have it, but I've retired it. And now I've got a nice light piece of equipment, and I pack it around in a fancy case. And
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Welcome back to Open Connection. Horses are an important part of human history, having served as transportation, in war, for sport, and in many other roles. Modern horses in Canada are generally sport or pleasure horses and are treasured for their role as companions. Let us return the conversation as Corey shares what happens when a horse goes lame.
well, lameness in a horse means that they have a limp. And first of all, you have to find out which leg is the problem. So a lot of that is just watching them move, watching them trot. Trot is the diagnostic gait for detecting a lameness. And so, yeah, you watch them trot in a straight line, watch them trot on a circle, watch them trot on soft ground, watch them trot on hard ground, both directions. Try and identify which limb is the lame leg. And then from there, you start flexing joints and palpating soft tissue structures, looking for pain, swelling, reactivity, change in lameness. Then sometimes we nerve block them, sometimes we joint block them, which means we put freezing into the area around a nerve that innervates a specific area of the limb, or we actually put freezing into a joint and we block the joint, and then that helps us localize the source of the lameness. And then from there, depending what we find, we may ultrasound them if it's soft tissue, or x-ray them if it's a bony, a concern to do with arthritis or something to do with the bony skeleton, because that's what shows up on x-ray. I think that the community in Terrace is, they've been without a equine veterinarian for a while. For years. They haven't had one here. They now have Dr. Seaton here, who owns Mount Remo Veterinary Services. And so they have a resource now. And I think that prior to that, when there wasn't somebody residing here, they were very good they had their own community of people that could help. And within that community, there was people who were quite knowledgeable, lots of people who were willing to help. And, many of them were my clients and never afraid to pick up the phone and ask for guidance, ask for support, ask for when are we allowing suffering to happen when we shouldn't. We should, call it and end a life, because that's the kindest thing to do. So, but no, I've never been in a situation in this community where I've thought that animals should be taken away from someone because of lack of knowledge or lack of horsemanship or husbandry.
This really isn't the first time of you being around cameras, is that correct?
Yeah, no, it's not the first time I've been around cameras. I was contacted by the executive director for the Society of BC Veterinarians around this time last year, that she had been contacted by a media company looking for a veterinarian, a woman veterinarian in British Columbia with Indigenous heritage. And my mom is Métis, and therefore I am Métis. And so I was one of the ones to get that phone call and say, hey, what do you think about this? And I thought, well, let's try. We'll reach out. We'll meet
Why not?
the production team of this TV show that they wanted to do. And a couple of weeks later, I had a Zoom meeting with one of the producers from the media company, and things kind of went quiet after that. And I thought, oh, well, that didn't go very well. And I guess it wasn't, really what they were looking for, and that's fine. They was just kind of a meet and greet and tell me about yourself. And about a month went by, 6 weeks went by, and all of a sudden I get a text saying, camera crew will be there next weekend. They're going to do 4 days of filming, and we're going to see if this is going to work for us. And we've just, we're ready to go to air on September 2nd. And we are part of myself and my company, or my vet clinic, Nechako Valley Animal Health Services, and my amazing group of ladies that work with me. We are being featured in the first series, or the first season of a docuseries called Wild Rose Vets. And myself and two other veterinarians, one from Alberta, one from Saskatchewan, we are being followed. It's basically a day in the life of what we do for 13 episodes. And it took a bit to get used to, having cameras and mics and lights everywhere. And it's hard to, they'd say, just be yourself, just do you. And you sort of just learn to roll with it after a while, and you kind of clear out that noise again. And so, we're looking forward to watching ourselves on TV coming up. And we've actually started already filming for season 2. So we're pretty excited about that. The production team, or the film and the sound crew come, and it's small. There's the producer, a couple camera guys, lighting, and a sound guy. And they are great. They're wonderful to work with. They make you just feel at ease. And I had no idea. I had no idea. Just like they have no idea about what I do. They sit there and they're like, we just can't believe that you are doing what you're doing. And I'm like, I can't believe that you're doing what you're doing. And so this is great. It's giving me some insight into a different type of an industry within the world of what people do as career choice. And they're getting to look into my industry too, which is really neat.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Veterinarians provide medical care to a wide range of animals. They perform physical examinations, conduct diagnostic tests such as blood work and imaging, prescribe medications, administer vaccines, and perform surgical procedures to treat injuries or illnesses. In this final segment of Open Connection, Corey shares other jobs a veterinarian does.
They say being a veterinarian isn't just being the doctor, right? You're the counselor, you're the radiologist, you're the surgeon, you're all these aspects. And especially being rural and remote, you really do wear a lot of hats at any given moment and any given day. And I guess I just never really thought about it. You hear everybody says, oh, I dreamed of being a vet and I could never do what you do, or I want to be a vet and this is great. And I hope for anybody, right? For anybody that feels that they maybe have the desire or the interest or the dream to pursue a career in veterinary medicine, like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I mean, I'm not that, I'm smart. Obviously, I'm a veterinarian, but school was hard for me. It really was. Academics was not my strong point. I had to work really hard. And I went to vet school with an F on my transcript. Did I have to explain why I had that F on my transcript? Yeah, I did. I get it. It happens, right? But yeah, I don't know. Surround yourself with good people and, build people that are going to support you, and you'd be amazed at how easily your dreams can come to fruition, I guess. There's a lot of, it's an uphill climb, but it's worth it.
Is there anything I might have missed that you'd like to add?
Well, right now the hot topic is the TV show. And we're short of veterinarians, and we're working, everywhere. The demand is greater than what we're able to provide. And through the TV show, I hope it gives some insight that we really are short and we do really work hard, and that when we ask for grace from the public, that we hope to get it, because we are in the trenches trying our best every day. One of the things that I have really been humbled by, being able to see the stories that are going to come out through the Wild Rose Vet show, is just the relation. Like, when a family brings me their animal, my job is to help them make a decision based on what I deem to be the problem, or what diagnostics we need to run, or what treatments we need. And through the TV show, one of the things that really hit home to me is I'm in doctor mode, I'm in fix it mode, I'm in let's get down to business, we can help you, we can make these happen. Don't really ever have a time to step back and realize just how much that animal truly means to those people, right? And the stories in the series really hit that home for me, right? Some of them are the only thing some of my clients have left. They've lost their spouse, a family member, their house. Some of them find animals and they don't want them. The animals find them and they bring them into their life, and they show the joy that those animals bring them. It's been neat to see it from that side, because it's not just about me and the profession that I do, or what I do as a veterinarian. It's also stories about the relationship that those pets and animals have with their owners. And I loved seeing that. Like, that's what made it worth it for me, was to see the relief and see the relationship and see the concern, and you feel it, really, you do. Like, that human-animal bond is just so important to so many people.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Open Connection. The greatest distance in the existence of man is not from here to there, but the connection from his mind and heart. If we can conquer that distance, we can soar like an eagle and realize our immensity within. I'm Robert Pictou.